10. Page 10. Pamela and Melissa share in the profits of a toy store. If the total profits are $45,000 and M is the amount Melissa receives, write an expression for Pam. So I'm comparing Pam and Melissa, and this is one of those total problems where you have to divide a total. Okay, we have Pam and Melissa. We know Melissa gets M, and the total is 45,000. So if Melissa gets M, how much does Pam get?
45 minus
45,000, the total minus whatever she got. So your answer was just 45,000 minus M. They just wanted to know what Pam was. Okay? So remember, with all these totals, whatever one person gets, the other person gets that minus the total. As it goes on. What they got from the total. Does that help at all, Zoe? Any other questions on the quiz? Okay, you can keep those to study with. Let's start talking about the test. The test has 5 key fact things at the beginning this time. Remember last time we had 4? So you need to know 5 facts. What would some of those be? What did we learn this chapter? We learned a lot of formulas. Melissa.
On the syllabus it said we're doing 3.4, and then this got because I'm late.
No, we did 3.3 and 3.4 last time. And on the syllabus it says 3-form review. That was if we didn't get 3-4 finished.
Oh, you did.
And we did finish, but we're going to spend a lot of today covering that last
I
section.
didn't remember the section on it, but I missed it.
I understand. No, we did it last time. Today we'll be covering it more.
Okay.
We're going to spend a lot of time on those word problems.
Right.
But let's talk about the key facts.
Rate times time equals distance.
Okay. Distance is rate times time. That's a good one. What's another one?
Time equals PRT.
Interest equals principal times rate times time. Another good one.
If we put those on the test, do we have to write out what each letter means?
Should I make that?
No.
All right.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to use them. If you don't know what they mean, they're not going to be very useful. Okay. What's another one? Which one?
Motion.
Motion.
Equals rate times time.
Okay. That was this one. That's motion. Actually, I would like you to put motion and money. Motion, money, and what was the third one? Mixture. And there's 2 formulas for mixture. We have solids and we have liquids. Does anybody remember what the solids was?
Money times
Price.
price equals value.
Equals the value. And this one was quantity
Times stroke
times strength
equals amount.
equals an amount. Okay, good. Those are 4 right there. So all you need is 1 more. And we could use, which one? Polygon formula. Yes, that's a good one. The number of sides are the angle, I'm sorry. Interior angle for polygon is n minus 2 times 180. That is a great one to know. Okay, I can think of 2 more. Complementary angles. What do complementary angles add up to? No, 90. Supplementary angles add to 180. Okay, very important to know. Because of this one, the interior angles of a triangle is what? A triangle equal 180. That's something you need to know. How about consecutive numbers? What is it? How would you represent two consecutive numbers? X and x plus 1. Consecutive odd or even would be x and x plus 2. Now remember talking about that? We're going to do a problem like that today in the review. So those, they ask you to represent consecutive numbers. It's x and x plus 1. Odd or even would be x and x plus 2. I think that's enough for your key facts. Pick 5 of those, but all of it you need to know for the test. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is I picked out some problems out of the book that were similar to the test, and I want to work those on the board with you and for you. And after I do these, then I've got a review sheet for you to work on your own and me to come around and help. Do what? Yeah. Okay. Why is it marked wrong? Because this was not 0.297 times 10. It has to be a percentage of something, remember? Okay. All right, so if you would look in your book on page 192, number 11. That's the first problem we're going to do. And it's a problem with these odd integers we just talked about. The problem says the sum of two consecutive odd integers is 96. Find what the numbers are. Now, if you just randomly find two numbers that are odd consecutive numbers to add to 96, you may get part of the problem right, but I need to see that you know how to do the steps, what the unknowns are. So how would I represent two odd consecutive numbers? X and what? X plus 2. Okay? It says the sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 96. So how do I write that in an equation? X plus 2, I'm taking the sum of the two consecutive odd numbers is 96. So step 1, define my unknowns. Step 2, write my equation. Step 3 is to solve. Okay, I got x is 47. And is my question done? Am I done? No. I have to go back and see if I've answered the question. What are the two numbers? So if x is 47, what's the second number? X plus 2 is just 49. So the two consecutive odd numbers are 47 and 49, and they add to give you 96. There's one almost identical to that on the test. So there's no, because of this plus here. If there was no addition or subtraction sign, then you would distribute. You just look for what's in front of the parentheses. Good question. All right, the next problem I'd like to do is on page 200. Number 16. This one is about complementary angles. What do complementary angles add to again? 90. So the problem says angles A and B are complementary angles. I know I'm going to be comparing A and B. Angle B is 14 less than A. So which one is my X?
A.
A. What is B? 14 less than A. So those are my two unknowns. That's step one. Find the measures of A and B. Okay. It doesn't tell us what they equal because by saying complementary, we already know what they equal. What do they equal? 90. So add these two together to be 90. So that's step two, is to have an equation. Step three is to solve this equation. Okay, am I done with my problem? No, because I only answered one part of it. I found out that x is 52. So A is 52 degrees, but what is B? 38. And then you'd want to make sure those added up to 90. Okay, there's going to be a problem similar to that as well. Also on page 200, there is problem 21. If I caught up, can I keep going? This problem is about unknown angles. One angle of a triangle is 10 degrees greater than the smallest angle, and the third angle is 30 less than twice the smallest angle. Find the measures of all three. So I have three angles. I have a smallest, I have a second, and I have a third, because I know there's three angles. And it keeps referring to the smallest, so we're going to write it that way instead of first, second, third. Which one is my x? Smallest, because everything is revolving around what the smallest is. And it says one angle is 10 degrees greater than the smallest. So that would be this one. 10 degrees greater than the smallest. The third is 30 degrees less than twice the smallest. 30 degrees less than twice the smallest. So that's the hardest part of the problem, is defining my unknowns. I've set up my three different angles. Is there any questions on how I got that? Now what are these going to add up to? 180, because the interior angles of a triangle are 180. So I'm going to add the three angles together and set them equal to 180. That's my equation, or the second step. My third step is to solve. I'm going to combine like terms, so I have 4 x's. And then I'm going to add my two numbers together and get negative 20. I can remove the parentheses because there's no negative signs in front, so I don't have a negative to distribute. Parentheses simply fall away because there's a 1 out front. Continue to solve my problem. I end up with x is 50 degrees. So, who is 50 degrees? The smallest. Don't forget to go back and write what all three angles are. You can't just write 50 and be done. What's the second? 60. And the last one is? So it's 50, 60, and 70. If I'm writing these on the board, you can be pretty sure there's going to be a problem just like them on the test. Okay, last page is page 212. First one is number 33. this is a simple interest problem or a money problem. In the book, it gave me the formula, but on the test, you may not have it. So tell me again what the money formula is. Interest is principal times rate times time. Very good. We are going to do a box. Okay. I got my problem set up. Now let's read it. Paul and Donna invested $12,000. Part at 5% simple interest and the rest at 7% for 1 year. So let's stop right there. What can I fill in that I know? We know time is 1 year. Do we know the rates? One is 5%, so how do I write it? How do I write the other one? 0.07. I know those two things. I know they have $12,000 to invest, but the second part of the problem says how much do they invest at each rate so that their total interest is $800. So if I know the total down here is $12,000, however much I put in this one, how much did I put in the second one? 12,000 minus X. Very good. That's one of those totals. Interest. We know the total interest is going to be $800. I'm just writing this down here as totals to kind of give you a visual of that. Do I have enough interest? Do I have enough information in my box to find the interest here?
Yes.
Yes, because I multiply it straight across. So I get 0.05x and I get 0.07 times 12,000 minus x. Now that I have my magic box, I'm going to call it, whatever thing's equal to, this is your goal, is to find this box, because you're trying to find what it equals. When you find the missing pieces of the magic box, they have to add to give you the total. Alright? Okay, so 0.05x plus 0.07, 12,000 minus x equals what? 800. Good. So fill out the box, write your equation. Now I can solve. 0.05x plus 7% of 12,000 is 840 minus 0.07x equals 800. This is negative 0.02x. Equals negative 40. When you divide both sides, the negatives will fall out to give you a positive 2,000. Okay, great. I got x equals 2,000, but what does it mean?
So that's for the first one.
So that's this one. So if I put 2,000 in at 5%, how much am I putting in at 7%? Good. That is why it doesn't matter which one you call x. Say x we found, I would just say it was that value at 7%. At the end you need to just say how much money went into each account. Okay? Any questions with that problem? The next problem is number 56. Alright, 56 says, Nick Cooper has 2 cans of white paint. One with 2% yellow pigment and the other with 5% yellow pigment. Nick wants to mix the 2 paints to get a paint with 4%. How much of the 5% should be mixed with 0.4 gallons of 2% to get what he wants? Okay. What kind of problem is this?
Mixture.
A mixture. A liquid or a solid? Liquid. So what is my formula?
Quantity times strength equals
Quantity times the strength equals the amount. Very good. When I'm dealing with mixture problems, I'm going to have 3 rows. Ooh, that's not enough. Where's my magic box this time?
Amount.
Amount.
It's gonna happen.
Okay, that's our goal. Build this up. All right, let's look at what we're comparing. We're comparing a 2% pigment and a 5% pigment. So where do I put that? Which part of the box? Under strength. But remember, percents I write as decimals. So I have a 2% and I have a 5%. What am I trying to mix? What kind of strength do they want?
5. No?
They want a 4%. So my mixture is going to be 4%. Let's look at quantity. What do we know? Do we know how much of the 2?
2 cans. Whatever, yeah.
0.4 gallons of the 2%. You see that? So 0.4 of the 2%. How much of the 5% should be mixed with it to get on my mixture? So be careful, they wrote that opposite of how they said the beginning. They had 2 first and then 5, but when they gave the amount, they said the 2%. So make sure you're putting it with the right one, if that makes sense. Okay. Do I know this total? Do I know what the mixture is going to be in quantity?
0.04x?
0.4 plus x, because I'm mixing this with this, so I'm going to get 0.4 plus whatever that is. So I do know that total. Okay, now the magic box. Do I have an answer for here? Yes, what is it? 0.008. Okay, do I have an answer for here? 0.05x. And lastly, I have this answer by saying 0.04 times 0.4 plus x. Just multiplying the 2 columns together. To solve my problem, I have to write an equation. What should my equation be? Well, how am I going to use my magic box to write an equation?
0.008 plus 0.05x equals.
The 1 plus the second gives me the mixture. So 1 plus 2 equals the mix. That makes sense. When I do the math, point eight what? So it's the quantity of 5%. Do we remember what kind of units?
Gallons.
In gallons. So we need 0.8 gallons of the 5%. Yes.
So is this 1 plus 2 equals the next second by 22?
With the interest problem?
Yeah.
It is, same thing. Because see this third row total, I'm saying the interest of the 1 plus the interest of the second is your total interest. So yeah, you're always adding up this magic box to be your total. Okay, the next problem is 66. This is also going to be a mixture problem. and it's plant food. Is this gonna be solid or liquid?
Liquid. It's liquid.
It's still liquid again, isn't it? Why is it liquid?
It says it's liquid plant food.
Liquid plant food is your first clue. Your second clue is it's giving you percents or strength. Okay? So I'm gonna set up the same kind of table. Quantity times strength equals an amount. In rows, this is my mix. And there's my okay, let's move from microgrow all-purpose liquid plant food has 12% nitrogen. So we're going to call the first one all-purpose. And what is its strength? 12%, so I write it 0.12. Miracle Grow Quick Start, well, this one Quick Start, has 4% nitrogen, so that's 0.04. If 2 cups of all-purpose, so I know the quantity of all-purpose, 2 cups are mixed with 3 cups of Quick Start, determine the percent of nitrogen in the mixture. This is what we're looking for. What is my percent of the mixture? Do I know the quantity of the mix?
Yeah, it's 5.
It's 5, yeah, you just add that. Okay, I've got all the information I need for my magic box. So 2 times 0.12,
0.24.
0.24, 3 times 0.04,
0.12.
so what is the total?
Oh, that's
0.36.
Oh.
But yes,
I thought you had
5x is going to be equal to 0.36.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now this is 5x, you're right. But I also happen to know what the total was going this way this time. Okay? Stick with what you got? Okay, do this then. Okay, I see what you're saying.
No.
This is making more sense to you. 5x, okay. Cool. Total. Okay. Now the total, 0.24 plus 0.12 equals 5x. Is that better?
Yeah, it's way better.
I'm sorry. 0.36 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5 and you end up with 0.072. Okay, this is a problem where we're ending up with a strength. Do I give the answer 0.072?
No.
No, you have to put it back into a percentage. So the answer is actually 7.2%. Okay, so when your answer is strength, given in a decimal, put the answer back into a percentage. Very good. Okay. Last problem I'm going to do with you is page 217, number 26. This is a, what kind of problem? It's 2 trains moving. Motion. So if 2 trains are going in opposite directions, they leave from the same station on parallel tracks. One train travels at 50 miles an hour and the other is 60. How long will it take for the trains to be 440 miles apart? So this distance right here of 440. Let's draw our table. What is my formula for motion problems?
Distance equals rate.
Rate times time equals distance. Distance is rate times time. It doesn't matter which way you do it. As long as you know which one is the magic box, which one is it?
Distance.
The equal sign, distance, good. Alright, let's fill in what we know. We have 2 trains. We know the rate of one train is 50, the rate of the other train is 60. Do we know time?
No.
That's what we're looking for, right? So what is the distance? 50x. What is the distance of 2? 60x. The important part with motion problems, I said if you're going the same direction, you subtract. If you're going opposite direction, you add. Because they're going opposite ways, what do I do with these 2 numbers? Add them. 50x plus 60x equals what?
440.
440. We're trying to find out when they're 440 miles. What's funny? What is funny?
Oh, I was just talking ahead of it.
X equals 4 hours because it gave it to us in miles per hour, so we're trying to do hours. Okay?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what that's for.
Okay. Right here in the problem at the beginning.
Oh, I see it,
Yeah.
440, okay.
Yep.
I'm there.
Okay. Good. Now there's probably a reason I gave you a motion problem where they're going the opposite direction. Alright. And you notice I didn't give you a solid mixture problem. I only gave you liquids. Alright.
I don't like this section.
Any questions before I hand you some to work on your own, for me to come around and help? Because it's one thing to watch me do it, it's another thing for you to do it. So I want you to have some time working alone with my help, okay? I have 2 sheets. One is a chapter 3 practice test with answers on the back, so you can check yourself. The other one was the quiz I was going to give you today, just so you can work in, look at the answers. I'm not collecting it as a grade. Alright? I have this front back and it's 2 sheets. Yes. Quiz with the answers.
Oh, there's the answers. I was
One
like,
is the answer sheet to the
I'm like,
quiz.
what? I got it.
I had to do them separate because originally I wasn't
Like,
doing them.
we're supposed to like just randomly make up a button numbers.
You went back with work on 3.3? Yes. We're just doing the answers. Yeah. Go back and how do you do it? Do you mean as a say review or you went into the review like, yeah, you can go back and do like, but when you go and you put on the homework, it's like
I'll get on and look, so we can come up with something, see if I can figure that out. I don't know why it would do that.
So this is the thing that I'm not agreeing.
Correct. And then we have to answer.
So these are the I just don't want to.
Okay, let me know if you need help. I'm gonna be looking something up on MATLAB for someone right now.